Sometimes, it's not the loud moments that leave the biggest impression. Sometimes, it's the quiet ones, the moments that pass in seconds, but linger in the hearts of millions. This is one of those moments. It didn't come with dramatic music. There were no flashing lights, no grand announcements, no rehearsed speeches. Just a look, a pause, a reaction that felt real. And somehow, that was enough for ARMY to stop scrolling and start talking. At first glance, it seemed ordinary. Taehyung and Jungkook were simply being themselves, comfortable, familiar, effortless. Fans have seen them together countless times before, across years of stages, rehearsals, interviews, and behind-the-scenes content. Yet this time, something felt different. It wasn't something that could be easily explained or pointed out with a timestamp. It was more of a feeling, a shift in energy, a subtle reaction, a moment that made people pause and think. Did you feel that too? And just like that, ARMY began to rewatch. ARMY is known for many things: loyalty, passion, creativity. But perhaps the most defining trait is attention. Fans don't just watch BTS. They observe. They notice the way members react to each other. They notice small smiles, lingering glances, changes in tone. They notice when something feels familiar and when something feels new. So when this moment happened, it didn't go unnoticed. It wasn't about creating drama. It wasn't about jumping to conclusions. It was simply recognition, a collective realization that something genuine had just happened, and it deserved to be felt, not forced into assumptions. Taehyung has always carried a quiet intensity. He doesn't need to speak much for his emotions to be visible. Sometimes, a single expression from him can say more than a paragraph of words. In this moment, his reaction stood out. Not exaggerated, not staged, just honest. It was the kind of response that happens when someone is fully present, not thinking about cameras, not performing for an audience, but simply reacting as himself. And ARMY noticed that. They noticed how natural it felt, how unguarded it seemed, how it reflected growth, maturity, and emotional openness. Jungkook has grown up in front of the world. From the youngest member to a confident artist, his journey has been marked by sincerity. When Jungkook speaks, there's often a quiet honesty behind his words, whether he realizes it or not. In this moment, what he said wasn't dramatic. It wasn't carefully crafted to go viral, but it carried weight. Because sometimes, the simplest words are the ones that resonate the deepest, especially when they're spoken without expectation. And Taehyung's reaction made it clear. Those words mattered. Taehyung and Jungkook don't share just moments. They share years. Years of training. Years of stages. Years of growth, mistakes, laughter, and lessons. That kind of shared history creates a language that doesn't always need words. A look can mean understanding. A pause can mean support. A small reaction can carry years of memories behind it. This moment felt like that. Not something new being created, but something deep being acknowledged. And ARMY felt it too. The most interesting part? This moment didn't try to go viral. There was no forced controversy. No exaggerated reactions. No editing tricks to manipulate emotions. It spread because it felt real. Fans clipped it, shared it quietly, added captions like, "This felt different," or, "Why does this hit so hard?" And slowly, the conversation grew. Not loud, not chaotic, just thoughtful. What made this moment stand out even more was how ARMY handled it. Instead of jumping to conclusions, fans chose appreciation. They talked about growth. They talked about bond. They talked about how meaningful small interactions can be. It wasn't about labels. It wasn't about theories. It was about connection. And that's something BTS has always encouraged. BTS has never been about constant spectacle. Yes, they deliver powerful performances and global achievements, but at their core, they've always valued sincerity. Quiet moments, honest conversations, unfiltered reactions. This moment between Taehyung and Jungkook felt like a reminder of that philosophy. That not everything meaningful needs to be loud. That sometimes authenticity speaks the loudest. There's a reason ARMY keeps coming back to this clip. It's comforting. It reminds fans why they connected with BTS in the first place. Not because of perfection, but because of humanity. Because seeing two artists share a genuine moment makes everything feel a little more real. In a world that moves fast, moments like this slow things down. Both Taehyung and Jungkook have changed over the years. Not in a way that loses who they are, but in a way that deepens it. This moment felt like growth you don't have to explain. Growth you can feel. Confidence without arrogance. Emotion without performance. Connection without explanation. And that's powerful. For ARMY, moments like this are more than content. They're reassurance. Reassurance that BTS remains grounded. That their relationships are genuine. That even as the world changes, some things remain sincere. And that's why fans talk about it. Not to speculate, but to appreciate. Instead of chaos, this moment created a gentle buzz. Soft edits. Thoughtful comments. Quiet appreciation. Fans wrote things like, "This made me smile. You can feel how real this is. No words needed." And sometimes, that's the best reaction of all. Trends change. Algorithms shift. But genuine connection lasts. This moment didn't need explanation because it reminded everyone of something simple. BTS isn't just about music or fame. It's about people, growing, learning, and sharing moments along the way. And maybe that's the beauty of it. This moment doesn't need to be defined. It doesn't need conclusions. It exists as it is. A shared pause. A real reaction. A moment that felt honest. Sometimes that's enough. Weeks from now, ARMY may still remember this clip. Not because it was dramatic, but because it was sincere. Because it felt like a reminder. Even in the spotlight, authenticity still finds its way through. In the end, this moment wasn't about hiding something big. It was about showing something real. A connection shaped by time. A reaction shaped by trust. A moment shaped by honesty. And that's why ARMY keeps talking about it. Not because they're searching for answers, but because sometimes a simple moment can say everything. And maybe that's why this moment stayed with ARMY. Not because it needed answers, but because it felt real. In a world that moves fast, small, genuine moments like this remind us why we connected in the first place. No drama. No assumptions. Just two artists sharing something honest. Sometimes, the quietest moments speak the loudest. And this one was impossible to ignore. Thank you for watching. If this moment made you pause, smile, or feel something, then it already did its job.